The angels are really here. Part 3. Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. And as we've been discussing over the last 2 programs, angels are here. They are really here. And I shared a few incidents where angels made their presence known, either to help or to influence situations. So today I'm going to answer a couple of questions that are out there regarding the working with angels. The first question is, how do you know when angels are around? And the second question is, well, how do you communicate with your guardian angel? Well, working with angels is not as difficult as you might think. Actually, it's pretty simple. And the great thing is that the angels are waiting to help you. They're waiting for you to try and communicate. They're waiting to meet you and work with you. And they're willing to come more than halfway to make that happen. Now, it may not surprise you, but it is more than likely that you probably already had incidents where you were working with angels. That's how you ended up here watching this program, talking about angels on YouTube. You reached the point where the angels who surrounded you felt that it was necessary for you to take the next step and to learn a little bit more about them, so they brought you here. Anyone who's had contact with angels will generally tell you that at some point in their discussion that the primary desire that angels have is for us to learn to love each other. For us to learn to love each other, to learn how to get along. They want to help us to learn to open up and to trust each other so that we can begin to live in a life that has less stress and runs more smoothly. So you'll find that as you expand your consciousness to include angels and accept their participation in your life, then you can almost say your life has become magical. Because in essence it has. Angelic assistance is magical. So while we may be a long way from our goals of raising the consciousness on a worldwide basis, we're actually much closer than we think of raising our consciousness on an individual basis. So the purpose of this discussion is to challenge you as well as to stimulate your minds to become more aware of the angels in your very presence, right here, right now. Okay. So the angels are always communicating with us on some level. They're always seeking to guide us and to protect us, or to make us feel good, or simply to love us. They do love us, you know. They do love us very much. They love us with such power that if we could just allow it to come through in a trickle of the power level at which it exists, it would overwhelm us. For example, I can remember times when I was composing talks or designing lessons that promoted the concepts of elevating our consciousness or expanding our love, that the angels would pour in such loving energy into me that it was overwhelming. Sometimes it was so strong that I would have to stop what I was doing and lay down because my body was too overwhelmed to continue my work for that brief period. Just too weak and too ecstatic for me to even think about working. So anyway, please click on the thumbs up button if you haven't already done so, and please, if you haven't already done so, choose to subscribe by clicking on the logo in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, or the comment section. No, there's a chat box on the right-hand side of the screen and the comment section below. So if you have any thoughts or ideas or suggestions, please use the chat box or the comment section below the video and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Okay. So subscribing, lower left-hand corner, thumbs up beneath the video, comment section or below, or the chat box on the right. So how do you become more aware of the angels around us? Well, the first step, as I have mentioned before, is just believe. Just like that license plate told me, just believe. Your belief in the possibility of angels opens your mind to recognizing their presence. Remember the words of Dr. Michael Grosso that I've showed you before. Researchers have found from many types of studies that the less rigid one's mindset, the more likely it is that a paranormal force or idea will break into experience. The more unworldly our minds, the more detached from habitual patterns of response, the greater is our openness to the promptings from a higher reality principle. The more likely that is that extraordinary things will occur in our lives. So accept the fact that you have a guardian angel. The next step is to go back into your memories, back into the past, and look for those times when you suspect an angel might have intervened on your behalf. We've all had those times, and even though we may have shoved them to the backs of our minds, we know that they're there. So think about the times when you seemed to be in exactly the right place at the right time, or you met someone and someone new, and suddenly a number of things in your life changed dramatically for the better, or somehow you got out of a bad situation that you know you did not get out of by yourself. Dori D'Angelo, who was known as the Angel Lady of Carmel and was founder of the first Church of Angels in Carmel by the Sea and wrote a book called Living with Angels, says that those incidents where you suspect something like that might have happened are known as angel happening. That's what she called them, angel happenings. So allow your mind to go back to those times and allow yourself to remember how you felt during those times. Allow yourself to remember any little quirky or strange feelings that may have come over you during those times. If you can remember any of those strange feelings, then they will probably serve you as clues now to give you ways to detect the presence of angels in your life. Next, elevate your vibration. Use prayer or meditation or even just spending time in quiet contemplation. These quiet periods allow your mind and your body to relax and separate you from the connections to the drama in physical reality. When you're immersed in physical reality, your mind usually doesn't have space for spiritual thoughts. Not usually, but if you calm down and get used to being calm, get used to being centered through meditation and prayer, etc., then you'll be able to step away from all that and go to a quiet place and enter a quiet state of mind. When you do that, it opens the door to a whole different dimension, and it elevates your vibration. After your mind is settled, you can begin to sense changes in the atmosphere around you that let you know that something is going on. On that note, it would help a lot if you can set aside a space in your living quarters. Set aside a space in your living quarters that is dedicated to your spiritual practice. I call this space the angel beacon. The effect of doing that, of setting up that space, is even if it's just one corner of a room, if you live in a studio or apartment, the effect of doing that is that the spiritual energy will begin to accumulate in that spot, because you go there for that spot for that particular reason, and you're meditating there, you're praying there, and the energy, the spiritual energy begins to build. If you could see it with your third eye, you would see a buildup of light in that spot. So that when you enter into that space, your body and your mind will automatically shift into alignment with that spiritual energy, which then will make that process much easier. So set up a space, even in a corner, that is dedicated to that. Then sit in that space, and if you have any questions, first say them out loud, and then follow up by writing the question down in your journal. Write it down. Write it down. Then quietly wait for the answer. It will often come as what appears to be a thought. It's like, am I thinking this answer? So write it down, wait for the answer. It'll appear to be a thought, but write it down anyway. You might think it's you thinking of the answer, but maybe it's not. So write it down. Also, as an aside, write down any intuitive flashes you might have about something that could happen later. Always do that. Always write down intuitive flashes. The reason for that is so that you can build up a track record of occurrences where you had an intuitive feeling or where you had a thought that could have been an answer to your question. So write them down, and that way you can always go back and check and reaffirm that is what actually happened. There may be other indicators like a flashing light or a sudden noise or a flickering candle flame to confirm the thought that is in your head. So if you're having the thought that might be an answer from the angel, and then somebody blows their horn outside your window, that is to confirm that noise at that particular moment, that particular instant, is to confirm what is going on inside your head. Another thing you can do to heighten your awareness is to heighten your awareness of your environment. Most of us go through life without paying attention to what's going on around us. We're basically sleepwalking. So if you want to build a relationship with your angels, that has to change. One way to change it is to use self-observation to help keep yourself focused and in touch with the present, with now. What most of us do during the passage of time is spend time regretting the past or hoping for the future, and mostly ignoring what's going on around us. So the key is to pay attention to what's going on now. We usually, as I said, ignore the now unless something stressful happens, something that upsets us, that forces us to focus on it. By observing self-observation, however, we begin to see how we react to situations and what situations we're really in. We begin to see what's going on around us. Then, when you see that, you can begin to see what's happening in those situations. And if you look closely, you begin to see that quite often you're getting help. If you do a lot of self-observation, if you pay attention to situations going on around you, you'll begin to notice that little things will indicate, hey, there's somebody helping me here. So, do that. Also, pay attention to the sounds around you. Pay attention to the air around you. How you're on your skin. Now, see, in reality, we're always talking about what we can see and touch, but there are other ways, other senses that can be involved. So your hearing, there are little things going on in your hearing that might help you to detect the presence of an angel. Of course, if you're always listening to earphones, then you actually cut out the world around you. So consider putting the earphones down every now and then, at least for short periods of time, to sensitize you and yourself to your surroundings. As I said, that sense of feel on your skin can also be very important in terms of knowing what's going on around you. When my angels want to get my attention, they cause a tingling sensation in at the top of my head, in my crown chakra. They will tickle my crown chakra, and it comes off as a tingling in my scalp. And when I feel that warm tingling in my scalp, I know that they are there, and they really want me to pay attention to something. So I will stop, I will slow down and begin to look around at what's happening that I need to know about, or perk up my inner ear to see if they're whispering to me something that I need to know. Another thing that happens is the number 11 will begin to flash Number 11 will just start to pop up all around me, wherever numbers show up, all of a sudden the numbers that I will see or become aware of is the number 11. And when the number 11 starts popping up all around me, then I know that something is going on, and the angels want me to pay attention. So I slow down and listen or watch and look. Another thing to do is to learn more about angels. Read books, look at videos. They're there. So if a book suddenly appears before you, that is, maybe it drops off a shelf, or someone lays it down in front of you, or you're in a store and all of a sudden your attention is grabbed by a title, then pay attention. This is the angels are trying to let you know something that they want you to pay attention to. So you want to expand your life beyond the narrow confines of physical reality. You are bigger than that. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. And so as this individualized expression, as you knowing that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, we need to be able to go beyond what we can see and touch with our own, and our sense of hearing, or our sense of feeling with our skin, or our intuitive sense in our gut that says there's something going on. We're dealing here with very subtle energy. Awareness raises, that subtle energy becomes much more pronounced. You begin to notice. You begin to notice. So I'd like to share a couple of things that happened to me. There's so many, but just a couple of little things that happened. Maybe that will help you to relate and realize that there were instances where the angels were helping you as well. So one of the things that comes to mind that might angel happening that might jog your memory for you is I was a sales representative for a training company back in the 80s, and I remember it was the last day of the sales cycle, and I was talking to my manager. My manager told me that I had not met my quota. I was still $1,000 short sales on my quota. Somehow I had miscalculated that. So here I was in my office. I had set aside time that day to do paperwork, and so I didn't have any appointments. And so my problem was, well, who do I call? Who do I get out there and talk to get a sale of $1,000 in training classes? So as I was sitting there, I says, well, angels, I guess you're going to have to help me with this one, because I don't know how to fix it. So 90 minutes later, the phone rings, and it is a woman on the phone that I talked to some weeks earlier who says she has decided to accept my offer, and she wanted to buy a training class for her company. Just to start off. She had more classes in mind, but she wanted to give me a chance to do one. So we signed her up for a class for $1,200. So there was my quota. She said she was going to do it next week, but something told her that she really needed to do it on that day. And so that's why she was calling me at that time. Her last name, well, interestingly enough, was Enoch, E-N-O-C-H. And I remember that when she told me her name, a chill ran down my spine and the top of my head began to tingle. So I knew the angels had something to do it here. I told her that that's a very powerful name. She said, yes, she'd been told that it was powerful, but she really didn't know anything about Enoch. But what is important to know is that Enoch spoke to the angels. Enoch actually wrote a translation of the angel alphabet. which is in some apocryphal writings that the angel alphabet was translated by Enoch. So after she hung up, I vehemently thanked the angels, enthusiastically thanked the angels for their help. And what was interesting was their call had gone out to get me this class from Miss Enoch, but it went out and hit some other people as well. And by the end of the day, I had an additional $3,000 worth of training that I sold, and I never left my office. Finally, being non-judgmental is critical. Critical. You know why? Because what is the first thing we tell ourselves when we have something unusual happen? We say, it can't be. I don't believe it. Nope, I must be crazy. We immediately discount it. Discounting it is dangerous because you're shutting down your mind to something that is real. So stop calling yourself crazy. Stop saying it can't be true. Allow that it might have been an angel happening. It might have been the angels working with you. It might have been the angels coming through on your behalf. The angels are there. The angels are here. And they're here to help us. So let's acknowledge that the angels are actually here. Let's close with prayer. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence. Thank you for bringing us, all of us together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors and join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we're beginning to understand our value to the continuity of life on this planet. As we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. We know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise, because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain we have caused to ourselves, and as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our connections will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please remember to click on the thumbs up button if you haven't already done so. Please choose to subscribe. Remember, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions. So please use the comment section below, and let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you have any questions. In the meantime, I thank you very much for watching and listening. And remember, I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is on The Wings of Your Mind.